We're watching the weather as storms threaten our area. Heavy rain, high winds, and possibly some severe storms. We'll tell you when it's hitting your area.
Next thing I know, somebody's banging on my window. Get out, get out, get out. The house is on fire.
An early morning fire breaks out in Lakewood. The people inside barely make it out alive. Tonight, why investigators think this blaze may have been set on purpose.
If you're an adult who enjoys a good beer, there's a similar product you might want to know about.
And a controversial ad gets yanked from a NASCAR event in Indianapolis. What's creating such a buzz around this 30-second clip?
Good day for football!
And the Broncos back to business today in full pads, and fans are ready. We'll bring you the latest from training camp.
Fox 31 Denver, news at 9.
Rain and lightning sweep through Denver. We are watching the weather as we could be in for a stormy night. We got a live lookout over Denver right now where you can see some of the rain has stopped for now, but there is a misty fog lingering over the city. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Nick Emmons. We could be at risk for some severe weather in parts of Colorado tonight. We've been dealing with the rain for a few hours now, so when will it all stop? That's the big question. Let's check in with meteorologist Nick Carter for a first look at your pinpoint weather forecast. Hey, Nick.
Well, this is actually going to continue throughout the rest of the nighttime and probably be part of our early morning tomorrow with cooler temperatures across the Front Range as well. Let me show you our live radar. This is pinpoint radar, and we're zoomed in on the city right now. Two areas of fairly heavy rain, one out near Aurora, southeast of Metro Denver, and also another area of heavy rain in Lakewood. And since that's all moving to the east, I can pretty much guarantee you that here in the city, we're going to be in for another round of pretty heavy rain. Some good soakers here in the metro area, and we sure need the moisture, that's for sure. We look down south towards Castle Rock, Castle Pines, just east of the interstate, I-25. That area of light to moderate rainfall continuing. And also, there's some pretty heavy rain just north of Bennett. All of this moving to the east-southeast at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Now, as far as the lightning goes, we're seeing a lot of it down between Castle Rock and Highlands Ranch, also out east of DIA, out near Bennett. Not so much for the city, but you always have to kind of watch things if you're out and about, because that could be a real problem out that way. We have a little break in the radar right now. That's what happens when you wind up with a lot of electrical activity right around where the radar unit is out at Front Range Airport. We also want to remind you that we're in a severe thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock tonight. It does not include the city proper, kind of a weird outline for this watch box, but we'll kind of keep our eyes for everything just in case, because our pinpoint futurecast still shows some heavy rains for the eastern plains all the way through midnight tonight, and then an area of light to moderate rain before sunrise tomorrow. Again, all of this continuing to move off to the east-southeast. No severe weather here in the city just yet, but we are under that severe thunderstorm watch all around the metro area, so we just gonna have to kind of watch things. Nick, and we'll kind of keep you posted over the next few minutes. And, of course, the rest of your weekend Pinpoint Futurecast, we'll talk about how the weather starts to improve and dry out during the course of the week. That's all coming up in just a bit.
All right, Nick, thanks. And remember to count on our Fox 31 Denver Pinpoint Weather app with interactive radar. You can download that for free at kdvr.com/apps. A summer day on the water turns tragic for a young Colorado woman. The Eagle County coroner says 21-year-old Haley Rinaldi died in a boating accident at Rudy Reservoir. That's about 200 miles west of Denver. We found this picture on her Facebook page. This was just posted yesterday. Investigators say she was being pulled on a tube behind a boat when the tow rope snapped and the metal connector struck her in the head. And some new developments in a case involving a retired sheriff's deputy. Today we learned Ed Herring has been charged with menacing for threatening a family member. The SWAT team had to be called out to the night of the incident about 2 weeks ago. Herring retired from Weld County back in 2006. He'll be in court for a bond hearing Thursday, August 15th. Fire investigators in Lakewood believe an early morning house fire could have been set intentionally. The blaze erupted just before sunrise. People living in the duplex barely managed to escape. Fox 31 Denver's Hendrik Sabrani has the latest on this developing story.
Nick, this is the house that went up in flames this morning, and yes, tonight investigators are in fact looking at unverified reports that it was in fact arson.
Choose on medium-sized, two-story, single-family residence.
The alarm sounded at 4:56 a.m. By the time crews arrived here at Viewpoint Drive and Welch Street, the fire was burning. Thomas Meyer happened to be awake inside the house.
The next thing I know, somebody's banging on my window. Get out, get out, get out. The house is on fire. It is really on fire. It is going up in flames.
We were sitting on the couch, and my friend Tez just saw the whole window completely glowing orange. And as soon as we saw that, opened the door, saw that was up. Like, there's nothing we could do about it. So I got the pet, tried to find as many pets as I could, got out.
As the flames spread from the front deck of the house to the attic, the half-dozen young men inside knew the clock was ticking.
We had about 3 minutes to get our valuables out. After that time, the house was so filled with smoke, it was billowing out of all the electrical outlets. The flames were probably about 20 to 30 feet high, if not higher, and it was very intense.
It took 30 firefighters 15 minutes to put out the blaze. It'll take residents a bit longer to forget about this early morning scare.
Scared to death, but I'm here, I'm alive, and that's all I can say. It's absolutely a true blessing to be able to walk another day on this earth.
Investigators are looking at all aspects of this fire this morning. About 1/4 of this house sustained at least moderate damage. In Lakewood, Hendrik Sabrandi, Fox 31 Denver.
Broncos training camp is getting into full swing. Today, the team put on the pads for the very first time. Fox 31 Denver's Cami Carmen has more from Dove Valley.
Day 3 of Broncos training camp, and the players put on quite a show. The pads were popping for the first full contact practice of the season, and even the fans got involved today. When the players started stretching, so did the fans.
That's a moment I'll never forget. Even Champ was like, "What are they doing?" I said, "Man, they're stretching." It was a great moment. It was very funny.
I think it's cool because, you know, we got a fan base that really supports our program and loves Denver football.
With full pads on for the first time this season, it was time to work.
This game's about habits, building habits, and hopefully good ones. And, you know, it's the first time we've been in pads since January. But all in all, I thought it was a very good first day.
And after 2 long days of training camp, putting on the pads is always a bonus.
It's kind of weird because you don't put the pads on, you know, since your last game, you know, until now.
You know, we do so much practicing without them, and then to have them on and be able to practice how you want to, you know.
But the extra energy always causes a few minor fights.
We had a couple of skirmishes today, but, you know, it's all part of it.
Brothers fight, but we love each other, so we'll forget about it.
So the more than 3,100 fans got a show and a workout.
I got to check that tomorrow. Look over my shoulder one time.
The Broncos get back to work tomorrow morning. Practice begins at 10:25. Fans can come out and get their stretch on, too. It is open to the public. Cami Carmen, Fox 31 Denver.
And of course, fans are excited about the upcoming season. It turns out thousands of them showed up to watch practice today. And of course, more than 3,000 fans have been waiting in line sporting their orange and blue over the past couple of days. Fox 31 Denver's Greg Nieto shares their excitement from training camp.
Despite some late afternoon heavy rain, today's theme at training camp, a family affair.
Go White Team!
Brenda Phillips and crew just had to be here.
My youngest son slept in his clothes, so he would be out here in time.
In time to see the Broncos' first day in full Gladiator gear. The fact that there is a sea of Bronco country orange and blue shouldn't surprise anyone on the sideline.
Just the sheer number of them, I guess, the size, you don't realize how big they are until you're closer.
So close that during warm-ups, the Broncos thought they were looking in a mirror. Fans also getting loose for what could be a long Super Bowl run.
Say the Broncos are going to win the Super Bowl.
Sean Gallup is also here for the first time with son Luke in the backfield.
Get a big smile on his face when we got up and we ate breakfast, and so excited he spilled the cereal all over the table trying to get out the door. So we're pretty pumped.
Pumped to be watching the hits of Saturday become Sunday afternoon reality.
If mommy's happy, everybody's happy.
For those who keep the faith, like Brenda Phillips.
The Broncos' next open practice tomorrow morning at 10:25. At Dove Valley, Greg Nieto, Fox 31 Denver.
And for those who keep the faith like Brenda Phillips, we caught up today with some fans who made their predictions about just how far the Broncos are going to go into this season. Most of them have some pretty high hopes.
13-3, #1 seed in the AFC.
After what we had to endure all year long from that loss to the Ravens, yeah, we're ready. We're ready this year. We're going to go to the Super Bowl not once but twice, I predict. Twice!
They're going to do absolutely fine. I think it's not at the beginning of the year when it matters, but I think at the end of the year when everyone's healthy and we'll see what happens in the playoffs.
And they're going to go to win the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl or bust. That's what they say.
As players and fans gear up for football season, a Colorado Springs bakery is making sure it gets off to a sweet start. Look at that. This is from Bliss Bakery. It cooked up a life-size cake of Peyton Manning, all from scratch. It took 45 pounds of Rice Krispie treats, 44 pounds of frosting, and 15 vanilla cakes to make that creative creation. Peyton is not looking too good there. Tasty, though, maybe. The sweet treat is part of the Community Rising celebration, partly benefiting those affected by the recent wildfires. Pretty cool thing there. Coming up, dragons right here in Colorado. It is the annual Dragon Boat Festival. We're going to bring you the sights and sounds to explain what makes this cultural event worth attending year after year. That's next.
Less toxic so it doesn't cause hangovers or overdose deaths.
And this controversial ad banned from a NASCAR event, what it says, who's behind it, and why one group is refusing to run it.
And there's some rain across the metro area. Some of these storms producing heavy rain and a lot of lightning. When will it end? Your forecast, your pinpoint forecast coming up in just a bit.
Fox 31 Denver, news at 9.
Great food and all sorts of great festivities at the annual Dragon Boat Festival out at Sloan's Lake. The event kicked off with a bang this afternoon, exposing thousands in Denver to a host of Asian cultures.
Sizzling skewers, sunny skies, and a sword-wielding samurai. The annual Dragon Boat Festival, a big hit with visitors today.
It's really fun to have such a big event right in our backyard.
Various Asian cultures on full display this weekend, from dancers to martial arts.
We're having a great time. The weather couldn't be more perfect. Exposing our daughter here to multiple cultures, enjoying the food.
And you can't forget about the highlight of the show. The Dragon Boats.
Yeah, it's a blast. Yeah, seeing all the boats and having some good food and watching some fun martial arts on stage.
Even the little ones out today enjoying a whole new world.
What do the drums sound like?
Fox 31 Denver anchors Jeremy Hubbard and Hema Muller staying cool in the shade with visitors as our own Deborah Takahara took the stage to MC a parade of contestants.
And a giant wave swept them overboard into Sloan's Lake.
And if you missed out on all the good stuff today,
it's really nice to see people like showing off their dances and everything.
Don't worry, there's always tomorrow.
And the Dragon Boat races start at 8 tomorrow morning. The fest lasts until 5 p.m.
Now, pinpoint weather with meteorologist Nick Carter.
Could be a few showers over Sloan's Lake tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. as well. We're going to be kind of dodging the raindrops for the rest of this weekend. We've got some cooler air from the north and a weather disturbance parked right over the metro area, leaving us with not just one, but two big areas of rainfall. Let me step in the picture and kind of show you. Right about here, here's downtown Denver. Here's I-25. And on the west end of town here, this is an area of light to moderate rain. It continues to push out to the east, and it's joining an area of heavier rain out over southeast metro Denver out near Aurora. There's also some heavy rain down south between Parker and Elizabeth. This area, lots of lightning, but the winds are light, and we don't have any reports of hail, so this storm by definition is not severe. This storm north of Bennett, packing a lot of electricity with it too. They had some lightning with these storms, some pretty nasty lightning storm activity just to the north and east of DIA, but in the city, we're not picking up any lightning at this particular time, just rainfall. Remember, severe thunderstorms have nothing to do with lightning. They have everything to do with gusty winds and large hail, quarter size or larger. So although we have a lot of electrical activity with this area of thunderstorms, by definition, so far, they are not severe. But we got to watch the skies just in case, because again, we're under that severe thunderstorm watch until 11 p.m. That means you watch the skies for that. This was our time lapse. We were looking out to the west, and we caught that first wave of rain as it fell over the city. Refreshing, cool rain after all these hot days that we had, although today was anything but. Our highest temperatures were much cooler than average, only got up to 73 in Greeley today, 75 in Fort Collins, but look how much hotter it was in southeast Colorado. There's a reason for it. There's a leading edge of cold air that got hung up between Denver and Colorado Springs. Springs. We were in the cool section of that air mass. The warm air still well to our south, so it was pretty toasty in La Junta. They got up to 98 degrees. 90 is an average high temperature for us this time of year, actually, but we were pretty much cooler than that. 62 right now. We've got this light thunderstorm right over the city, 93% humidity, and a chilly now northeasterly breeze at 14 miles per hour. I say that because if you had to be out and about, you didn't have some rain gear, you're going to feel cool. Coors Field, 65 degrees, and it's a little cool out there with that rain just the same. This is the rest of northeast Colorado. Temperatures in the low to mid 60s. We're going to get down to the low 60s, upper 50s for northeast Colorado later on tonight. And again, all of this moisture is peeling off the Front Range foothills and this area of thunderstorm activity east of Metro Denver. Some of it could produce some pretty nasty rain to our south and east overnight. But tomorrow morning, we're going to wake up with some light to moderate rainfall. If you are headed to the Dragon Boat Festival or you have any outdoor activity plans, by lunchtime tomorrow, I think things will be just fine, just partly to mostly cloudy. Then by late afternoon, we've got one area of showers and thunderstorms just to the south of the city, and then it's all over. Temperatures again are going to be in the mid 70s. Northern Front Range communities are going to be the grayest tomorrow with mid to upper 70s. Firestone around 75, 76 in Longmont, 74 degrees in Boulder. Downtown, look for partly to mostly cloudy skies with a good 30% chance of showers, maybe a little bit of thunder, but we're not expecting anything rough. Just early morning showers, late afternoon showers. You got plans in the middle of the day, you should be fine with those temperatures in the mid 70s. Down south, near Castle Rock, 73 degrees. We'll have some shower and thunderstorm action again early in the morning, and then again around 5 p.m. I think there's a good chance for some thunderstorm activity down there. But for the rest of us, it's just going to be drizzly for the rest of the night tonight with lows in the mid 50s. Good sleeping weather. 8 a.m. tomorrow, light rain, 61. Lunchtime, 74. Evening showers and thunderstorms with highs in the mid 70s. It's going to be a cool day tomorrow, and then we look towards the work week, and wouldn't you know it, just how it sometimes seems to work out. It gets better. The weather gets really nice just in time for back to work with temperatures in the low to mid 80s. Those thunderstorms continuing for the rest of the night. I don't expect anything severe for the city. Good soaking rain, of course, is always a great thing for us this time of year. But early morning showers tomorrow. Don't let it interfere with your plans if you're going to be out and about by 9 a.m. After you're done with breakfast. I think that the sun will poke out for just a little bit, and then we get some late day showers.
You just got to be prepared no matter what.
Keep your eyes on the skies and move around them.
All right, Nick, thanks. All right, charges in a deadly boat crash coming up. A bride-to-be dies in that wreck. We're going to hear from her mother coming up next. Then a little later, they help thousands of people with disabilities every day, but how do they get so smart? We're going to take you behind the scenes at service dog training. Tragedy on an Indianapolis freeway after a bus crashes, killing 3 people on board. That starts our look across America tonight. Authorities say 24 others were injured when the bus tipped onto its side and slid onto this concrete barrier. Take a look at this video here. It happened just as the bus was turning onto an exit ramp on Interstate 465. Witnesses say the vehicle was traveling at a high rate of speed when this happened. Most of the passengers were teenagers returning from a church camp. Police in Florida trying to figure out a motive for a hostage situation. The gunman apparently killed 6 people before the SWAT team shot him to death last night. Police say one of the 6 victims might have been hit by a stray bullet. They say they won't officially release the names until tomorrow. The driver of a deadly boat crash is charged with driving drunk. A bride-to-be was killed in this tragic crash in New York, and the best man is still missing. Now, the victims went overboard after the boat struck a barge in the Hudson River last night. The bride's mother says the groom-to-be called her with the terrible news.
She's supposed to be married two weeks from today. Yeah. It just can't end like this.
4 others were injured, including the groom. Some boaters are now questioning whether the barge was properly lit and visible. And blues legend J.J. Cale died of a heart attack last night in California. He's best known for writing hits like After Midnight and Cocaine for Eric Clapton, and also Call Me the Breeze for Lynyrd Skynyrd. He was 74 years old. A controversial ad creating quite a buzz in the NASCAR world.
If you're an adult who enjoys a good beer, there's a similar product you might want to know about. One without all.
What's this ad about, and who's behind it, and why was it banned from today's race? Also, a soldier returns home from war to find his dog missing, where the pup went, and how he's trying to get it back. But first, President Obama refocusing his efforts on the economy, how he claims Republicans are standing in the way.
31 Denver. News at 9.
President Obama has declared the Black Forest fire a major disaster. FEMA notified Governor Hickenlooper of that declaration last night. That means El Paso County will get federal funds to help with the recovery efforts. Thanks for staying with us tonight. I'm Nick Emmons. The president trying to get the national focus back onto his health care initiative. And he's firing back at critics he says are using phony scandals to prevent any progress in Washington. We have the new details tonight.
President Obama gave a couple of speeches this week trying to refocus the national discourse onto the economy and jobs. And he and his spokesperson repeated the reason why they think it has been difficult to stay on that message.
But over the past couple of years in particular, Washington has taken its eye off the ball. An endless parade of distractions and political posturing and phony scandals shift focus from what needs to be done.
Point is, with an endless distraction of political posturing and phony scandals and Lord knows what, Washington keeps taking its eye off the ball. And that needs to stop.
Some phony scandals that have captured the attention of many here in Washington. Fake scandals or things like that. We have to keep focused on the North Star here, the issues that the American people want us to be focused on.
But Republicans point to Benghazi and the IRS going after conservative and Tea Party groups and the NSA surveillance program and the Justice Department targeting journalists as legitimate issues. One GOP congressman says the Obama administration is stonewalling on Benghazi.
This is a real scandal, and no matter what the administration tries to say of that, Congress is creating scandals, the administration is. They were not forthcoming as to what happened in the loss of our ambassador and other Americans' lives, and now they're trying to prevent us from getting to the truth. We're not going to give up on this.
Now, the White House has not said which controversies the president claims are phony or fake, but Jay Carney said the president believes the IRS activity, for example, was, quote, inappropriate, and he took steps to stop it. But Carney says Republicans are trying to turn it into a bigger issue than it really is. Also today, President Obama marking the 60th anniversary of the Korean War armistice and paying tribute to those who fought in the forgotten war. The president laid a wreath at the Korean War Veterans Memorial. At today's ceremony, President Obama said no war should be forgotten and no veteran should be overlooked.
You, our veterans of Korea, deserve better. And down the decades, our nation has worked to right that wrong, including here, with this eternal memorial.
More than 36,000 troops died in the Korean War, which started in 1950 and ended in 1953. A controversial ad gets the no-go at this weekend's qualifying race in Indianapolis. That ad was supposed to appear on a jumbotron at the entrance of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Take a look.
If you're an adult who enjoys a good beer, there's a similar product you might want to know about. One without all the calories and serious health problems. Less toxic so it doesn't cause hangovers or overdose deaths, and it's not linked to violence or reckless behavior. Marijuana. Less harmful than alcohol, and time to treat it that way. For more information...
Well, that ad you saw right there promoting marijuana as a safer alternative to alcohol was removed by the media company that operates the jumbotron. It was sponsored by the Marijuana Policy Project. A spokesperson for Grazy Media says they will not support the promotion of illegal drugs at family events. A Washington father outraged after finding his late daughter's photo on a website promoting medical marijuana. Jonathan Fulton's daughter, Courtney, died of neuroblastoma 6 years ago. Now her picture is on the website for Sunshine Organics, a nonprofit cooperative focused on cannabis activism. Owner Serena Haskins says Courtney was an inspiration to her daughter, who also fought cancer, and that putting her photo up is a way of paying tribute, but Fulton doesn't see it that way.
I can say that this does not honor her in any way. Courtney would not want to be known to be the marijuana girl.
Fulton says he never gave permission for Courtney's photo to be used. He says his daughter was never treated with medical marijuana, and he thinks the website is misleading. An Aurora theater shooting survivor paying it forward to help others. Caleb Medley and his family hosting this fundraiser here in Florence to help the victims of the Black Forest fire. Caleb still recovering after being shot in the head a year ago. But today, he and his family wanted to give back and say thank you for the support and donations they received from the entire community after the shooting.
Instead of being the victim, which they have every right to be, they want to mark the anniversary and every anniversary from this point forward in a positive way, and this is one of the many ways that they can do that.
Today's fundraiser not only featured a comedy show, live music, and a live auction, it also included a blood drive for Bonfils Blood Center as well. Former State Representative Ken Summers remains in the hospital in critical condition tonight. The former Lakewood Republican was hospitalized in Loveland, where he's being treated for encephalitis. Summers served from 2006 to 2012, serving parts of Lakewood and Jefferson County. The search continues right now for two dangerous suspects in the metro area. Take a look at your screen here. One of them accused of attacking a woman on the Cherry Creek Spillway Trail. Aurora police say he ran up from behind and grabbed her, but the woman was able to fight him off. Now, the suspect is described as a white man, about 15 to 18 years old, with dirty and messy blonde hair and also a very pale complexion. You could see this artist rendering here. If you know anything or saw anything, call police. And police also want you to be on the lookout for a missing sex offender, Nick Medina. This man right here is described as a sexually violent predator. He recently removed his ankle monitoring bracelet and left the address in Lakewood where he said he would stay, and he did that without notifying police.
The general feeling is he's probably a walking time bomb. He's someone that has a great potential of re-victimizing and committing another crime.
Medina just got out of prison in June. He was originally convicted of sexual assault on a child. He's also accused of now being involved with a gang. Remember those puppies dumped in the trash at a Highlands Ranch park? Well, they're getting a fresh start in some forever homes. Today, the 4 adorable animals started a new life with their new families. About 60 potential adopters turned in applications for a chance to take one of those little guys home. They were all entered into a random drawing, and 4 lucky adopters were then selected by the Pikes Peak Humane Society.
It's exciting. It's been a while since we've had a pet in the house, so we're excited.
The puppies were nursed back to health with the help of a foster mom and dog. They were just days old when they were rescued from a trash can by a Good Samaritan back in May. Service dogs, well, they enrich the lives of thousands of people in need. And today, we're getting a look inside the training center where these special animals learn their craft. Fox 31 Denver's Jim Hooley takes us right alongside the pups.
Ready?
It took just one mistake in a swimming pool to put Brian Cash in a wheelchair.
There's a big ledge in the pool, and I hit that ledge, and I'm a quad.
Today, this Iraq War vet loves to play ball with his retriever, Haley.
I've had her for about a month. She's half golden, half lab.
Haley can make a great catch, but this relationship goes so much deeper.
Hit.
This 20-month-old service dog is not only Brian's best friend, she can open doors, turn on lights, pick up the occasional dropped cell phone.
Lunch, get it.
And even gets Brian's lunch out of the fridge.
She can turn off lights, air conditioning, things like that. But the biggest thing is just having a dog.
Anchor those leashes.
Haley is a graduate of K9 Partners. The Aurora-based organization provides service dogs for people with disabilities throughout the Rocky Mountain region. This little lady right here is Lucy. Lucy's about 4 months old right now. Here you go, Lucy. Good girl. Lucy's about 4 months old right now, and she will spend the next 18 months in the puppy training program. These trainers are all volunteers who know when their 18 months with the dogs are over, they're faced with having to let the pups go.
The first time I saw a dog working for somebody with limited mobility, all of a sudden I was like, how could I keep this dog? How could I be that selfish?
And that makes people like Brian Cash ever so grateful. After all his setbacks, he has found his best friend, and his life is back on track.
I'm going to school now. I got 1 semester left. Good girl. And I'm hoping that'll be a good thing.
In Lakewood, Jim Hooley, Fox 31, Denver.
A U.S. soldier returns home from Afghanistan to find his dog gone. Brandon Harker says he asked a friend to watch his dog, Oakley, while he was deployed for 8 months. But when he tried to pick up the dog, the friend told him they gave the dog away. Through a little research, he found the dog. It was sold on Craigslist.
He always ran up with his whole body shaking and then put his head down to sniff you. He thought he was a lap dog, and he'd crawl up on the couch and try to fit on your lap.
Sad story there. Oakley is microchipped and registered, but Harker hasn't had any luck finding him so far. He posted his search on Craigslist, got a lot of sympathy, but still, he has not found Oakley. If you find him, please pass that along. The list is out of the nation's worst airports, and DIA, yes, it made the list. Why and which other airports you may want to avoid. And Broncos safety Raheem Moore had one of the biggest mistakes. It's tough to watch that again. This was in the playoffs last year. Well, he is moving on and already looking impressive in camp. We're going to take you back to Dove Valley a little bit later in sports. We're following breaking news out of Castle Rock tonight. That's where a fire broke out at the outlet malls. Take a look at your screen here. This picture just into our newsroom. Our desk working on the details right now. This shows fire trucks on the scene. You could see the red glow there from the trucks. This call originally came in as lightning, we're told. Firefighters are trying to figure out exactly what happened. We do have a crew on the scene, and we'll bring you updates as soon as we can. USA Today's list of the worst airports in the country. It's out, and DIA made the list. That's right. We're looking live at our airport right now from the inside. Doesn't look too bad, not too busy, right? Readers, though, nominated their least favorite airports for a myriad of reasons. And about DIA, one passenger wrote in, "I always seem to get stuck there for one reason or another. There's no hotel, and it's a boring place to spend 6, 8, or 9 hours. It's an airport. They're not that entertaining." Other airports making the list, though: New York's LaGuardia Airport, Los Angeles International, Washington Dulles, and Dallas Fort Worth International Airport. On to some health news tonight. The FDA proposing new guidelines to regulate imported foods. Under that proposal, imported foods would be required to meet the same safety standards as food grown right here in the U.S. The recommendation comes after a multi-state outbreak of the foodborne parasite Cyclospora.
Food supply that Americans are consuming is coming from countries, 150 or so, and we need to make sure that food that is being put on your table for your family is as safe as it can possibly be.
The rules should be finalized by June of 2015. The FDA says food importers that do not comply with the guidelines could be banned from the market. And a warning tonight from the FDA about a potentially harmful brand of vitamin B. Now, this product in question is called Healthy Life Chemistry by Purity First B50. Regulators say preliminary test shows the vitamins contain anabolic steroids. That's right. So far, they've received dozens of complaints from people experiencing side effects ranging from fatigue to liver and thyroid problems. All sorts of problems can be caused by this. Women also reported missed periods, and men reported impotence and also low testosterone. Coming up, we're going to have more on the Broncos as they put the pads on today, plus a couple of their upcoming opponents losing some important players to injury, and a former CU Buff hospitalized after suffering a concussion. Scary story there. We'll have the details coming up. And the Rockies, they fall behind early against Milwaukee, but started to get hot in the later innings. Raul Martinez, we're going to let you know if they could keep the rally going next. That's in sports.
Now, the Toyota Sports Zone with Raul Martinez.
It's kind of weird because you don't put the pads on, since your last game, until now.
It's good to find out what you're going to do in pads because that's what really counts.
When we get the pads on, defense, we get more hands on.
First time we've been in pads since January, but all in all, I thought it was a very good first day.
Today is really the first day of Broncos training camp. The pads are on, the hitting begins. What's crazy is the first preseason game is August 8th. We're almost a month away from the season opener. September 5th is when the Ravens come to town. Revenge will be on the minds of the Broncos. Now, I know many of you are trying to forget about last season's playoff loss to Baltimore. Raheem Moore definitely wants to move on after his enormous mistake in that game. Fox 31 Denver's Cammie Carmen was out at Dove Valley this morning, and so far the safety is off to a great start at camp.
One of the more popular topics of conversation throughout the first 3 days of Broncos training camp has been the rematch with the Ravens and the expectations of this Broncos team. Nobody knows that more than safety Raheem Moore, a guy a lot of people blame for ending the Broncos season. Today, though, he had a marquee moment out here at training camp. After an interception, he started celebrating, showboating a little bit with the fans, which he says is simply part of his job now.
That's something I have to do because I've gave them a sense of Oh, boo.
It's the play that defines the Broncos' crushing collapse against the Ravens. The overwhelming public perception is that Moore's busted coverage cost the Broncos the game. The reality is a lot more complicated. Regardless, Moore is committed to giving fans a reason to cheer.
I want to start back up that excitement. So that's why when I make plays, I'm going to celebrate.
It's not the first time Moore has talked about the play, and it won't be the last. And while he patiently and genuinely answers all the questions, he's not listening.
I'm one of those guys, I don't really read a lot of what press say. I'm just not into the social media world, so a lot of times I'm blind to what people are saying. And I think that's a good thing because it keeps me focused.
There's bound to be plenty more discussion and evaluation of the Broncos-Ravens rematch, which is only 5 weeks away. At Dove Valley, Cami Carmen, Fox 31 Denver.
All right, thanks, Cami. A couple of reports have come out saying that Von Miller's possible 4-game suspension was not the result of a failed drug test. The Broncos linebacker is appealing, and we should know in August what the NFL decides. Miller has been practicing with the first team all week, and his teammates and coaches are preparing as if he will be suiting up week 1. He told us on Wednesday that marijuana is absolutely not a part of his life. Now, keep this in mind. Players can violate the NFL's drug policy without actually flunking a drug test. You can miss tests or counseling sessions, and according to the Denver Post, the Pro Bowler is in stage 2 of the league's program because he tested positive for marijuana and amphetamine use in 2011 during his rookie season. Back to the Ravens, and they got bad news today. Tight end Dennis Pitta is out for the season after dislocating his hip at practice today. One of Joe Flacco's favorite targets will have surgery. Also, Eagles wide receiver Jeremy Maclin tore his ACL. Denver plays Philly in week 4. There was a scary moment in Cleveland. Browns offensive tackle and former CU buff Ryan Miller suffered a concussion today and was carted off the field and taken to a hospital. The good news is Miller, who's in his 2nd year in the NFL, was released and is doing much better. The Rockies have fought all season, hovering around 500, but still hanging around. At this point in the season, we really know which teams are the contenders. Unfortunately, Colorado is falling behind in the standings. The Rocks are 5 games back of the Dodgers, hosting the Brewers tonight. Colin McHugh recalled up from AAA, and it was a forgettable night for the young man. He gave up 3 in the first, 1 in the second, and then this in the third.
This ball's tatered to right, high and deep, and out of here.
Juan Francisco crushes that one. The Rockies down 6-0, but go on a run. Down 6-1 with 2-1. Willeen Rosario cranks this out. It's now a 2-run game, but Jonathan Lucroy changes that in the 7th. This is a solo shot. Rockies trail 7-5. We're currently in the 9th. The rain has caused a weather delay. The Rapids in action tonight, facing off against the LA Galaxy. A win for Colorado would launch them up in the standings. 41st minute, Dylan Powers centering it, and Henry Thomas finishing it with the head. It's 1-0 Rapids. Second half, this time it's Powers doing it himself on the break, and the Rapids win 2-0 and move all the way up to 3rd in the West. The hottest team in Denver continuing to play lights out. I'm talking lacrosse, and the Outlaws hosting Chesapeake. A close one in the 4th, tied at 10, and here's Zach Greer putting Denver on top with that goal right there. The Outlaws win 14-12 in the home finale. They clinch the Major League Lacrosse top playoff seed. Back to baseball, and this was a wild moment. Boston at Baltimore. And check out Red Sox David Ortiz striking out, and while he was in the dugout, he did something to get him ejected. Take a look at this. Yikes, his bat to the phone. Dustin Pedroia looks like he got some bat pieces in his face. I think he needs to take a chill pill right there. Not very good role model-ish moment right there.
What did that phone do? It's not the phone's fault.
Not the phone's fault.
Wow.
Maybe it was Ortiz's fault.
Wow.
Could have been. Get it together.
Wow. All right, Nick, we have some rain we're seeing, possibly some lightning hitting the outlets, too. We had a storm over that area.
Right, exactly. And most of that now, at this moment at least, moving to the east of downtown Metro Denver. Most of the lightning making its way out of the city, but again, those showers are going to continue until about 5 or 6 a.m. tomorrow, and then more tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Nick.